Hi, welcome to Inspiration Station here on Entrepreneur.com. I'm Kirsten Kloss. Thanks very much for watching. On today's show, we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship in the public sector. My guest today is Shane Cox. He is the principal founder and CEO of LUMOS Technologies. He's established himself as an innovator in wireless technology and has been working in education technology for over 5 years. Well, first of all, thanks very much for joining us on the show today, Shane. It's great having you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm always excited to meet new people and be able to talk about what we're doing.
Well, the public sector, not an easy nut to crack for some companies. First of all, before we get into the details of that, what inspired you to create an education technology product?
Well, I've been an entrepreneur in the kind of education industry for really the last 5 years. We worked with a lot of schools across the U.S. as they kind of attempt to integrate this technology to the classroom. So this project we're working on now kind of came out of that experience that we worked with schools, and they really had two big major points of pain, two major issues, is that the technology that's available to them is fairly expensive, and in many cases it's too complex. So, the challenges is, states, schools are spending money to put this technology into the classroom with great intentions, but many times if they can afford it, it gets put in the classroom and it becomes so difficult for teachers to use, it ends up sitting on a shelf. So a lot of this conversation kind of evolved of, well, maybe we just need more training. So again, which is another cost. We'd spend more money on professional development for teachers to show them how to use these tools. We're really, from our point of view, that the issue is that we need to create hardware, we need to create tools that are easier for teachers to use, not that they need more training on it. We need to create things that are more intuitive. So that's kind of how we got into this space, as we were working with schools and recognized the need there and said, hey, this is something that I think we can fulfill, and we can create something that's with schools specifically in mind.
So the product is Smart Hub. So how does the LUMOS Smart Hub help educators bring classroom technology together?
So really, if you look at classrooms today, we have tablets, we have iPads that have made a big hit in education, we have Androids making a big push, we've got Chromebooks that are selling like crazy. So we've got all this new hardware, but really you take those devices out of the classroom, and the classroom itself's changed relatively little in the past 10 or 15 years. So teachers are struggling with marrying these new technologies with the existing hardware in the classroom. They have their old projectors, they might have a DVD player still, and again it creates a complex solution where teachers, for example, take it out of education and look at, have you ever given a presentation in a boardroom type of setup where all you need to do is do a PowerPoint or show a video or an app or something, and many times you spend more time setting up for it or fiddling with the technology than actually presenting. So now imagine you're a teacher and you're doing this every single day, and instead of sitting in front of a group of adult board members, you've got 37-year-old kids you're trying to keep on task. And so if a teacher's fiddling with different remote controls, again, it becomes a distraction to the classroom rather than enhancement. So ultimately they just set it aside. We worked with a school here in Utah that spends a significant amount of money every year on new technology. And they did a poll, and a third of the teachers didn't even use their projectors because it was too difficult for them to figure out how to switch between their desktop computer and, say, an Apple TV if they had that in the classroom. So what our Smart Hub does is it kind of ties all these technologies together and gives teachers a simple way to change between those inputs via an app. So it's no more fiddling with 3 or 4 remote controls. They can just say, hey, I want to show my desktop. They hit one button on our app and it'll switch to the right input, turn the projector on for them. And our device actually has an amplifier built in, so they can control the volume of any of the audio that's being broadcast out.
Very interesting product. So moving on to I was alluding to my original question about the public sector. What are some ways that you feel entrepreneurs and small business owners can identify and capitalize on needs in the public sector?
I think what happens is many times small business owners, we look at public sector, it's a little bit frightening. There tends to be more red tape and more bureaucracy. And like I said, schools are a great example of that it varies so widely from state to state, from country to country, and from even individual schools who has the purchasing power, who holds the purse strings, and who's the ones ultimately using it. So many times that value proposition is a little bit more difficult because you've got to identify how do you appeal to the person that's going to use your product? How do you appeal to the person that's got to pay for your product? And how do you appeal to the people that are going to support it? But recognizing that there's a lot of opportunity there in the public sector, especially among education. There's a big push right now to I guess enhance our education system, not just here in the U.S. but worldwide. We're looking at schools and looking at how our world is evolving, and how do we make sure that schools are keeping up with that pace. So really the challenge is finding a good niche that solves all those pain points. And a little bit of, I think, as entrepreneurs, we have to get away from this mentality a little bit that we look at government spending or public sector that it's unlimited funds there. We can charge them more, because many times you get a lot lower adoption rates because of that cost. Where if we can bring down that barrier of entry to the public sector, I think we've got a bigger chance to make more of an impact.
Well, great insight on your experience in the public sector, and a very interesting product. Shane, thanks very much for joining us on the program today. Appreciate your time.
Yes. Thank you.
We've been speaking with Shane Cox. If you want more information about his products and services, visit golumos.com, GOLUMOS.com. You're watching Inspiration Station here on entrepreneur.com. I'm Kirsten Kloss. Thanks everyone for watching. Bye for now.